Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another 10 at 10. I am Harshita. I'm the account manager here at Key Media Solutions.
And I am Madison. I am a digital strategist here at Key Media Solutions. And that just means I work closely with clients' goals, executing those in the campaigns to make sure we're meeting those goals and exceeding those goals, ideally.
Yep. Madison works behind the scenes here on several of our SEO projects. Before we introduce today's topic, let's just give people a few minutes to join, and we will then get started.
While we are waiting, I will send out, and I'll reference this a few times as well, but we do have a couple references to a few blogs we've put out in the past. So I will just share that link in the chat. So as we reference it, you all have it if you need it. It's just to our resources on our website where we post our blogs. There's some good stuff in there. We'll kind of call out a little bit as we go on if you want to check it out.
Yeah, there are several blogs on there that expand on what we're going to talk about today too, specifically SEO related. So great articles to check out.
Yeah, if you've joined a 10 at 10 before, you know that the 10 minutes goes quick. So we'll leave the real meat of it all in the blogs there. But,
yeah, that is right. How has everything been going for you, Madison? How's the weather there today? It's pretty rainy and gloomy here. It looks like pretty much the entire day.
Yep, and it actually looks like we got some sun in Minneapolis. It started out kind of gloomy this morning, but I see the sun coming out. It's kind of weird to have these 90-degree days in September, but it's been nice.
Yeah, don't worry, Madison. We have plenty of cold ahead of us.
Plenty of bad, plenty good.
So we should enjoy whatever warm weather we have left, right? Okay, should we get started now?
Yeah, let's do it. And also do you want to let them know we're doing kind of look at the style we're doing for today?
Yes, since I'm the account manager and I primarily, so Madison is the primary person who works behind the scene on several of our SEO projects in terms of executing it and seeing that we're seeing the results that we want to see, making all the changes, auditing and everything. That we'll go over the process in a little bit. So Madison works behind the scenes. I relay the information from between the clients. So today for our 10 at 10, we will dive into a very timely and impactful conversation about SEO, all things SEO regarding, of course, SEO in general, but the recent updates we're seeing with Google's new update, and Madison will talk more about that in a little bit. Some of those updates, what our internal process looks like for SEO, how we go from when we first get a client to all the way to how we take them to the execution, what impacts we've seen for our clients after we've made updates for them. So we'll go through, touch on, and like Madison said, it goes by fast. So we'll try to touch on all of those topics and we might go over them kind of quickly for the sake of time. So to get started, I have a few questions for you, Madison. First things first, when do you know it's the time to do an SEO audit or even start an SEO project?
Yeah, so I think that I don't want to be alarmist by saying like now, but now is really a critical time to at least understand where your search results and rankings are at, because there are so many changes, and we'll kind of get into those changes. But about a year ago, AI kind of started to implement some changes in search results, and now Google has rolled out its new algorithm, and we are seeing massive sort of new strategies, new tactics, new wins on the board here. And so I think now really is the time to at least start to dig into to make a couple of searches for your business or yourself on Google, and just see, are you on that first page? You'll see now AI overviews can kind of take over the whole first page sometimes of results. Is your website showing up in there as an authority, resource in some of those AI links? If you search in ChatGPT, are you showing up? Is there informed information out there about your company? And if you're getting no to some of those answers, it's really a good time to shift time, focus, and effort over to getting some new content and focusing on SEO if you can. yeah, and we'll get into a little bit more why and how here, but I think now really is the time to start that conversation if you haven't already. And if you have already started some work on SEO, some implementing some new changes according to the new algorithm rolling out, it's a really good time to make sure you're analyzing that, seeing if are you getting more sessions to your site, are you getting more engagement on your content on your site, really paying attention to those things now.
Mm-hmm. Well put together. And, like you said too, the best time to do SEO was yesterday and the next best is today. So never been a great time. What do you want to touch a little bit on what exactly is changing with SEO? What are the new updates and how and why we should prepare for them?
Yeah, so if you've been with us with the 10 at 10 journey for a while, you know that about, I want to say a year ago, but digital marketing time is like dog years. I don't know exactly how long, but we kind of started having the conversation about how AI was really changing the game for search results. And now on top of that, Google has rolled out its new algorithm, Movera, its new search algorithm. Again, check out our chat. We've got a great resource on a blog on what the heck exactly that is. We don't have time to get into that today. But overall, it's changing the landscape because it's no longer just matching direct content keywords to searches that have those keywords in it. Movera is really taking this big, every time someone makes a search, it's really kind of putting together this big content map around that search that's more informed based off of what users really are trying to experience, what they're really trying to get answered, really specific content they're looking for. And so what Movera's new algorithm is looking at is signals of expertise and trust. As you have customer reviews on your site, is there authority in your content? Is it something that do you have before and after examples of work? They're looking at local relevance. They're hoping for like rich content that shows work as an authority of that question that this user is trying to answer. For example, FAQs. Client, case studies, just really informed content that not only has a few mentions of a keyword someone's looking for, but really overarching or overall can kind of answer some of the deeper questions people are looking at. And I think a big part of that is because as we explored in our AI case study a while back, is that people are already getting those kind of surface level answers from these AI overviews. People, if I'm wondering, where's a good place to eat in this area? My AI overview is answering a lot of that already. And so what I'm going to look for is something a little bit more deep. I'm looking for a little bit more deeper inquiries. And then that's when the algorithm is trying to connect with its users. So I think that's really why they're looking for this deeper content and not just hitting keywords anymore, because those are kind of being answered. And now people are looking to website content for new ways. So just making sure it's really information heavy and it really considers the questions that users have when they're coming to your site.
Is it correct to say then that the core principles of SEO have not disappeared? The shift is that Movera is designed to understand the deeper search intent on a deeper semantic level. So looking for signals of trust and expertise.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it. I think especially we'll get into the little bit of a case study with our current client we're working on as well. But like you can still use the exact same SEO tools that we're all sort of used to get to really meet what Movera is looking for, to really upgrade your SEO. You can still use the classic standard tools, just making sure you're doing it informed by some of these new changes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, an easier way to remember this would be to also look at Google's EEAT principle. It just stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That kind of encompasses everything that Madison talked about. So it's just an easier way to kind of keep it top of mind and to remember you hit on all of those.
Perfect. I just sent that in the chat as well if anyone wants to see that. But yeah.
Yep. And Madison, how do you, when you get an SEO project, what are the steps that you take? How do you take it from beginning to end? What are some of the high level steps look like?
Yeah, I think that a big part, it can be kind of a scary project. So I think the first thing to just think about is starting with audit. If you haven't started any SEO work, you don't have any idea where you're showing up, really just take some time to look and see where you're at, because if you start just working on what everyone else is working on, you might miss some really key areas. So start to do some searches, start to understand where your ranking results are at. Look up competitors, make some AI searches, really start to see where you're showing up and where you're not, and then gear your content and planning into those directions. So you can also analyze in comparison to what, those results you found. But really audit, analyze, write content, implement that content, review the results, and then just sort of repeat. It's a really long process, especially if you've got a big content heavy website. So give yourself grace and time. That's what we've been doing. It's been several months of slow, implementations, but the results are really there.
Do you have any examples of some of the impacts we have seen since we've made SEO updates for our clients?
Absolutely. I think that's why the biggest reason I really wanted to do this as a topic is we're not just talking about how important it is. We really do have some awesome results to share with you. So one of our clients we've started, this is our longest SEO project we've been working on so far. And truly, as we were talking about, we're not doing anything really crazy or changing the whole structure of this client. Right now, we're really just focused on metadata and content, making sure all of their pages are sort of hitting the basics of SEO. And from doing that and making sure we're considering that EEAT, as Harshita mentioned, so far we've seen over a 40% rise in sessions and new users. And this is a client who actually has really great organic search already, but we're still seeing a really big, sharp increase in new users and sessions to their site. And my personal favorite part about that is where their key events on their site have skyrocketed. So not only are they getting people on their site as they always sort of have, but people are more meaningfully engaging with those with that content. So they're spending more time on the site. They're clicking onto other pages. They're performing different actions, really more meaningfully engaging with that content, which means through these SEO updates, we're really meeting people who want to spend time on that page. And so I think it's a really good connection of that SEO work and people who have search intent. We're also seeing a really sharp increase in their rankings. I know that we kind of I think some people will say rankings aren't as important as they used to be. I think they still are 100% because those rankings are what it's giving authority to the algorithm. And some of those pages that we've changed, I think we're up to 120 pages now implemented with changes. A big chunk of those have gone up almost 95 to 99 rankings and are now sitting at number 1. Even if they're really low volume searches, they're still showing up really well in those, those small searches. So I think that was kind of a big win as well. And then another thing that I really enjoy too is I'm kind of keeping an eye on those AI results. In the first, we didn't really see this client showing up on any of the, as a reference link on any AI overviews. There wasn't super informed content in ChatGPT. We are now seeing a shift in that. They are now one of the first links that as a reference for some of the key content if you make a search about them. And they are also showing up with more informed information about what they do and why they do it in different AI sources. So yeah, so we're seeing really, I think even more impressive than we thought we would see at this point in their project. It just goes to show that really making some of those small basic informed changes can have a really big impact right now.
Absolutely. And it's an exciting time, and it might seem daunting, as Madison said in the beginning, when you're taking on a big project, but as you start to see these changes and improvements, it gets more exciting from there, right? And you want to then keep those improvements. So absolutely. Well, thank you, Madison, for sharing your expertise with us and sharing some examples of the real work we've been doing. For those of you listening, if you are curious about how these changes might affect your own business or have any questions, we would love to chat. Our team is here to answer any questions. Either leave them in the chat below and check out the resources that Madison put in the chat also. With that, Madison, do you have any final words to share before because I think we're over time, so.
Yeah, no, I think I will leave it at that it can be a scary, daunting project, but we're here to help if you need it. Or just give a good read, there's lots of good information out there as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
Have a great day, everyone. We will see you for the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.